Okay, so welcome. It is lovely to see all of you here tonight. We are in week 2, which is very exciting. And I'm going to go ahead and enter into student preview so that the platform looks like what it looks like for you as you are navigating. Um, so welcome everyone. Again, my name is Joanna Parker and I am your professor for this course. I did want to start just by reminding you to please go under the discussions all the way to the bottom to course chat. And this is where you will find my welcome video, where I provide an overview of my approach and philosophy of teaching. In addition, there's some information about me and things I enjoy and what I bring to this work. And the biggest piece that I just wanted to remind folks of is that what I feel is most important is that you do the work and that you are able to take the content that we are talking about in this course and apply it to your interactions in your classrooms and programs, and also to your thinking and reflecting on your career path and where you want to go and all of the different things that we are talking about in terms of professionalism. I was thinking about this earlier today. I was having a conversation with someone about a podcast that I'm going to be participating in and recording for a national organization. And the person I was speaking with was asking me for some information in terms of my background and experiences to give her a sense of what the host should be asking and things like that. And so I was just kind of talking about, well, this is the trajectory that I took. And I think that it's really important for all of us to realize that in early care and education, there are lots of professional opportunities, right? So I started out quite some time ago as a classroom teacher, right? So when I was in college, I taught at a childcare center during the school year on a part-time basis. And this was a really small program serving children 2 through 5. I went to college in a pretty small town in Ohio. In the summers, I worked as an assistant in a inclusive preschool program at a school for children with disabilities. And then I actually ended up substituting for them a little bit during the school year in their preschool program, but also in their school age classrooms. And then I was working as a teacher in childcare classrooms. I worked with preschoolers, I worked with infants and toddlers. And then I transitioned into working with Head Start and Early Head Start. And so I did some work with home visiting, I did some work in the classroom, and I moved into management. So I've directed an Early Head Start program, I directed a large childcare program that served 120 children. And then I moved into working within state systems and supporting quality rating and improvement work for the state of Wisconsin, before moving on to supporting Head Start programs in the state and then regionally in the Midwest, and then moving to working at the national level, right? And so for a while I worked for the National Centers funded by the Office of Head Start at 0 to 3. And now I do lots of different things. I do some work for Teachstone, which is the company that developed the class tool, which we're going to look at some of their resources tonight. I also do some work for Teaching Strategies, which is the company that developed the creative curriculum and the gold assessment tool. I do some work supporting the quality rating and improvement system in the state of Virginia. And as you can see, I'm a professor, right? So I do lots of different things, and it's really fun. But why I share this is not just to say, look at all these great things that I do, and my professional path, but to realize that there are lots of different opportunities and different things that you can do in the field of early care and education. You can be a teacher, you can be a master teacher, and support other teachers working in your program. You can be a coach, you can be an administrator, you can be a director of a program. You can work for a nonprofit organization, perhaps a Head Start program, and they have lots of different kinds of positions. They have coaches, they have managers, they have directors, they have home visitors, they have family support staff, all sorts of positions, right? You can work as part of your local childcare resource and referral, supporting professional development or supporting families and finding childcare. You can work as part of your state quality rating and improvement system, providing technical assistance to early childhood programs. You can do classroom observations using formal rating tools such as the CLAS or the environmental rating scales. There's just so many different opportunities within our field, right? And it's something that is just continuing to grow and expand, and there's going to be more and more options and opportunities in the coming years, right? And so as you are going through this course content, I really want you to be thinking about, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to spend my time? What gives me joy? And it very well might be, and it's wonderful if that's being in the classroom, right? And maybe that's what is really important to you right now and you find enjoyable, and maybe in the future it might be something different, right? But I really want you to be thinking as you are going through the content of this course and thinking about the profession of early care and education, to really realize that there is a broad roadmap of opportunities for you to think about in terms of where you are now and where you might hope to be as you continue on your professional path. And I'll also share that, you know, when I think about my professional path and when I think about what was important to me when I was in my 20s and 30s versus where I am now, it's very different, right? And so your goals and priorities and how you want to spend your time shifts over time as you age, right? And so what was important to me when my children were young is different than now that they are in the process of being grown. And I feel professionally I'm kind of at the midway point of my career. So just something to think about as we are going through this content, right? And then if we move back into the content page, and I don't think I finished my sentence in terms of my teaching approach, in terms of why it's important that I want you to take the time to do the work is, and again, that implementation piece. But how that comes out in practice is that I do not deduct points for late submission, because I know you're all working adults. You all have responsibilities and things that you are juggling and managing. And again, it's more important to me that you do the work than you turn it in on time, right? And so if you're having a hard time meeting a deadline, please just let me know. Please reach out. The other thing that I would say, as I said last week, is that if you are having a hard time in a particular week, to prioritize the discussion for that week, because that really is your live discussion, your conversation with your fellow classmates. And also, as you are working on the written assignment for the week, to watch the live classroom prior to completing the written assignment would be my suggestion as we go through the course content in the live classroom each week. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's jump in and look at our content for this week. So we are in Module 2, focusing on connecting resources. So if we go to our overview, this is something I find really helpful in how courses are organized for Rasmussen, is that it provides for you not only the objectives for the module, but also the estimated time that it takes for you to complete all of the work that is part of the module, and then an overview of the readings for the week, as well as the content and assignments, right? So it gives you everything on one page. And if we go down to our content, again, we have the module that you can click through, right? That looks at different resources to support you as you think about the profession of early care and education. And if we click on our link here, we have our presentation on making resources meaningful, right? And so make sure that you go through that content. And then we also have information on communities of practice, which is where we are going to be focusing our time in terms of the additional resources that I will be sharing with you during the live classroom. And so a big focus of our course and the assignments for this week is the concept of community of practice. So then when we think about our assignments and activities, as you've probably noticed, under the live classroom recording, that is where I place the time and date for the live classroom, as well as the link to join. And then after the live classroom is posted, if we go into Module 1, you will see this. I then make the live classroom folder available, right? So I have it hidden until after I post the recording. Because as I shared last week, I have in the past had students who go in and complete the quiz before I've even put the question in or posted the recording of the live classroom or even had the live classroom live, right? So if you go under the live classroom recording document, and this is in Module 1, you will see that I have that then I go ahead and post the recording. And I do have a link that takes you to the recording in WebEx. I also have a link that takes you to the recording in YouTube, because I have gotten feedback from folks that sometimes they have a hard time accessing the video in WebEx. It can sometimes be a little bit tricky and buffers a lot. And actually last week when I posted this, I just went ahead and also embedded the video into the document here so you can watch it directly within the course as well. And then in the live classroom folder is where the question is. Oh, here we go. View assessment. And so the question was, what are the two resources that were shared related to advocacy? So you put your answer in the box and then you just hit submit, right? And so we are holding our live classrooms on Tuesday evenings. So this will be the day and time for the live classroom throughout the course. And then Wednesday morning, I will post the recording in the live classroom recording document, and I will add the question for the live classroom quiz in the live classroom folder. And I ask that you complete the quiz by midnight on Sunday. And in particular, I request that you watch the live classroom or participate in the live classroom prior to working on the assignments for the week, or at least submitting them. So I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions in terms of the live classroom and the live classroom quiz. Okay. So then the other assignments that we have for the week is we have our discussion, right? And so we have our directions here. And this is a perfect example of the different kinds of roles and positions that are available in our field. So in this discussion, you are taking on the perspective of a support specialist working with family child care providers, right? So one example of what that might look like is in Early Head Start. Many Early Head Start programs partner with family child care. And they have positions of individuals who support those family child care providers in meeting the expectations of Early Head Start. In addition, many states have infant toddler networks that support infant toddler care in the community and often are supporting family child care providers. And actually, as we are thinking about communities of practice, many infant toddler networks in different states and in Washington, D.C. actually have communities of practice that support family child care providers. In addition, when I was in Madison, Wisconsin has its own accreditation through the city of Madison. And they have accreditation for child care centers, which I was the director of a center that was accredited through the city. But they also have an accreditation system for family child care providers called Satellite. And as part of Satellite, they have a community of practice where family child care providers are regularly meeting and connecting and engaged in professional development. So in your post, taking on the perspective of a support specialist, you are going to share information on a topic that you would share with a family child care provider with Rebecca, right? And so the instructions are here for you. And it sets out for you both what you should say in your initial post, so your response, as well as how to respond to your classmates, right? You'll notice that in a lot of the discussions for this course, we are doing a little bit of role playing or taking on the perspective of others as we are responding to the post as well as responding to our classmates, right? And I see that there are several posts from folks already. And then if we think about due dates, you will see that your initial post is due by midnight on Wednesday. I was having a little bit of a hard time remembering the typical schedule because I've been teaching CBE classes recently. And so I put it on Wednesday, and we're just going to keep it there because an extra day never hurt anybody. So your initial post is due by midnight on Wednesday, and your response to classmates is due by midnight on Saturday. And a rubric is included as part of the discussion, which we did talk about last week. Your grade is broken down. 10% is based on timeliness and active participation. 25% is based on the quality of the initial post. 25% is responses to classmates, 15% is etiquette, and 25% is quality of writing. And again, if you click on the different criteria, it will then show you what this looks like at a mastery level, a proficient level, competent level, and emerging level. And I do use the rubric for grading. I have not yet graded for Module 1, but I will be doing that over the next couple of days. So you'll get a sense of what that looks like. But I do use the rubrics for all of my grading, right? So that is all laid out for you there. So again, I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions in terms of the discussion. Okay. So then the next thing that we have as our assignment is the written assignment, creating a professional development plan. And again, just as with the discussion in the written assignment, a community of practice is a significant part, right? So as part of this assignment, you will be defining what a community of practice is and providing examples, right? And this is another way in which I really want to see you making connections to course content, and really showing that you have reviewed course content, and I am looking for in-text citations of references, right? And those can be references from the content within the course, as well as references to professional resources such as the ones that I will be sharing tonight. You will also be sharing 3 professional goals, and connecting each goal to a statement of how it will enhance your professional practices, right? And that you will be connecting each goal to a community of practice or a professional resource, right? So I want, when we are thinking about that citation, I want a professional resource, not something on social media, but a professional resource from a national or local organization. And I want the full contact information for that resource or community of practice. And again, we'll also be wanting to make sure that you are including in-text citations using APA formatting. So there is a rubric, again, for this assignment. And so that you are defining the community of practice, that you have included the 3 professional goals, that you have included professional resources, and then general requirements looking at the quality of writing, APA formatting, all of those things, right? And again, when I'm looking at quality of writing, I'm not really nitpicky about grammar. You know, I want it to make sense, but if you have a typo or small mistakes, I'm not really all that concerned about it as long as it makes sense. But I do really look at what is the flow and organization of the paper so that I can really see clearly that you've identified and responded to all of the required elements, right? And nothing drives me crazier than a single paragraph for a whole paper. So please organize your paper into paragraphs, or even into sections. Okay, So again, I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions in terms of the written assignment for this week. Okay. And the written assignment is due by midnight on Sunday. Okay, so I believe that that is all of the activities for this week. So let's go ahead and move into the resources that I am going to be sharing with you. So I'm going to start with a video that provides a nice resource overview of communities of practice. And let me know if there is no sound. I did hit the button when I shared my screen, but WebEx can sometimes be a little bit grumpy about that. So just let me know if there's no sound. So then that is just advertising for courses from the school that I took this video from. Okay, so let's go ahead and start looking at some online virtual communities of practice. So we'll start with the National Association for the Education of Young Children, or NAEYC, which we looked at last week for advocacy. They do have communities that you can engage in, right? So there are different forums that you can express an interest in. So for example, there are forums around culture, science, math, and technology, play and policy, programs, social issues, all sorts of different pieces, right? And then you can log into Hello, which is the online platform. And you can see that there are discussions happening here that you can join, right? So if we click on communities, We can look at all of the communities. Right. So lots and lots and lots of different communities that you can join and engage in conversations. And you can see that there are lots of discussions going on, right? Okay.
Can I just ask a question about that? I'm so sorry.
Oh, please do.
So do you have to be a NACCE member though to be able to access those
Y-
communities?
Yes. So for some that I'm sharing, you do have to be a member, like
Okay.
NAEYC. Some you do not. But yeah, that is one of the drawbacks of some of the national ones. So, though also for some states, as part of their quality rating and improvement system, being a member of a professional organization actually supports you in increasing your levels. And so sometimes programs are willing to support you with a national membership. Okay, and please, 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 please always feel free to jump in with questions or comments. I sometimes just get on a roll. So the next piece that I wanted to share with you is Teachstone. So I'm on the Teachstone website right now, which is the company that has the class tool that looks at teacher-child interactions. And so I'm actually on their main page, teachstone.com. And then I went to resources specifically for teachers, right? So that's the page that I'm on. And there are different resources here connected to the class tool. And again, they are a for-profit company, and so they're trying to sell you their stuff, just out of being clear here. But there are blogs that are available at no cost that are great professional development and really support you in learning different strategies for effective interactions with children. And I'm trying to think about, oh, here we go. And then there is a link to the class learning community, which is available at no cost. So this is a free online community that has lots of different resources and discussions that are available for you. And as part of that, this is where it always gets a little bit tricky because I'm not really quite sure how to I need to move tabs and I can't move the thingy out of the way. Okay, so let's see here. There we go. Okay, so this is what the class community looks like. You do need to create a My Teachstone account, but that will happen if you just go ahead and join the CLC. That will help you in setting this up. And again, you can set up your own My Teachstone account at no cost. And so you can see that there are different discussions that are happening. And if we look at all groups, these are the different groups that are available. So all things class, groups for coaches and observers, people that train on the tool, administrators and leaders, teachers, individuals taking the CDA through Teachstone. So lots of different groups to connect with. And again, this particular online community of practice is focusing on teacher-child interactions. Okay, so then the next resource I wanted to share with you is 0 to 3. 0 to 3 is also another great national resource with lots of great information and professional development resources. And really all of these, as we think about our assignment, all of these resources that I'm sharing can also count as professional resources that are all available. They all have professional resources available on their website at no cost. Some of the resources do cost money, but many of them do not. So 0 to 3 has lots of resources that you can view, many of them available at no cost. Explore our topics is probably the best way to look through those resources and find resources, right? In addition, they do have a membership, which again does cost money. But as part of the membership, it does give you access to the community of practice. Then if we go to the Division for Early Childhood, which is connected with the Council for Exceptional Children. So this is particularly for supporting children with disabilities. So again, each of these organizations has a slightly different focus. And so again, as we think about a community of practice, and each community of practice focuses on specific topics within early care and education. And so here we are focusing on supporting children with disabilities, right? So they have lots of professional development resources, including a podcast. That's the popular thing. And so if we go here, you'll see that there is the community of practice here. That supports individuals that are caring for and leading programs that support children with disabilities, right? So there are COPs that are part of the Division for Early Childhood. I believe that they're available without, I don't think you need to be a member to join any of these. There is also a guide to communities of practice, which is another helpful resource, and really understanding what a COP is and what it looks like, right? And then the final National Center resource that I wanted to share with you is the National Head Start Association. And so this is a national organization focused on supporting Head Start programs, so Head Start and Early Head Start. And this is also a resource that is available at no cost. So there are professional development resources here. Let's see here. Why is it not letting me click? That was not what I want. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so I went under Knowledge Center and then to Center for Effective Practice. And here we have the Community of Practice page where you can join a learning community. And these communities of practice focus on supporting individuals in different roles within Head Start programs. So directors, fiscal services, human services, so on and so forth. And my guess is that education and child development would be the focus that most of you would be interested in. So as you can see, there are lots of online communities of practice that are available at a national level through different organizations. We also have communities of practice that are available through the local level, and one of those is definitely the Child Care Resource and Referral. So we have the Community Coordinated Childcare, or 4C. A lot of childcare resources and referrals within different states and communities use 4Cs as their name. This particular one is in Louisville, Kentucky. And you can see here that they have a community of practice to support early childhood educators, dig deeper and reflect on their teaching and leading methods, right? And so this is something that is available to early childhood professionals living in the area supported by this particular childcare resource and referral. And I'm sure you have a childcare resource and referral in your community as well. And so that's another thing that you might want to research, is finding out what is available in your community that is providing support to educators and programs in your area. Another example I could give you is that part of the work that I do in Virginia is within one of the counties that is in Northern Virginia near Washington, D.C. As part of the Office for Children, we provide a lot of professional development that is available to programs within the county at no charge. And then we do offer different communities of practice. We have one that focuses specifically on curriculum. And then we also have our infant toddler specialist who supports a community of practice of family child care providers, right? Okay. So again, I'm going to pause and just see if there are any questions in terms of communities of practice or the resources that I have shared. Okay, well, so that is the end of what I have to share with all of you. So I've really enjoyed that you have logged in and joined me this evening. Again, I will be posting the recording tomorrow, Wednesday morning, along with the live classroom quiz questions. So even though you're here right now, you do still need to respond to the live classroom quiz. And with that, I will let you go for the evening. Enjoy the rest of your night and take care.